Yo, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be making the lowest possible frequency in Xfers Serum 2. Now, before we do anything, we need to actually measure what the frequency is. So I'm going to add a plugin called TB Spectrogram, and we're going to change this to a default sine wave. So now we can see what frequency this is. It's here. It's around 132 hertz. Now an interesting fact we can use is that every time we raise up an octave, the frequency doubles. 1055. 1055. We can just divide it by 2, divide by 2 again, divide by 2 again. And this is pretty much the hertz we can get at C0. It says 131. 131? Yeah, it's about 131. The lower we get, the less accurate it becomes. Now, let's lower the octave. So we're at octave 4. We go down an octave. Now, we're on octave 3. Divide this by 2 again. We're at 65 hertz. And let's check. It's about 65. 63, 64, 65. Let's lower it again. Divided by 2, 32 hertz. It's about 30 to 32. You can see the lower we go, the wider the range gets. Let's lower it again. 16. Lower it one more time. It's about 8. And you can see this has become so low, it doesn't even show on the spectrogram. But we can go lower. Unlike last episode, where we could go infinitely high, but our speakers can only vibrate so fast. This one, there is no limit to how low we can go, because however low we can go, it's just vibrating at an ever slower rate. And if we change this back to a saw wave, we can actually hear the frequency, we can hear the pulsing. So let's lower this one more octave, dividing this by 2 again. 4 hertz. Slower again. We're at 2 hertz. Lower again. We're at 1 hertz. So this is beating 1 time per second. .5 hertz. Can we go lower? We can. This semi right here, we can lower it down. And what this will do is it will lower it down 1 extra octave. Divide by 2 again. So now what we can do is, instead of constantly dividing this by 2, we can take the reciprocal of this. And this is basically how many seconds for each beat. So this is beating once per 3 seconds. Now, can we go lower than this? Ooh, it's tough. Let me see. I honestly don't think we can go lower than this. Ooh. There's one more thing we can do, and that is main tuning. If we attach this to, let's say, envelope 1, and we raise that up, you can see main tuning drastically changes the pitch. If we go up here, it goes from 0.5 hertz to, I don't even know what that is. But if we turn it down, it is now really, really slow. In fact, it's so slow, it's longer than this entire bar. Now, can we figure out what this frequency is just by listening to it? Is it long enough? It's like within a reasonable time that we'll be able to hear the click just by playing this. Well, we got to do a little bit of a calculation here. We got to see how much the master tuning changes it by. Now, luckily, last episode, we did exactly that, except I kind of forgot what the formula is. So we're just going to calculate it again. I'm going to add a new serum preset. And now let's see how much the master tuning changes this frequency by. So we're at that same 100 something hertz, 130 something hertz. Let's see what happens when we bump up the main tuning. We end up at around 5,000 hertz. 5,190 divided by that. And we get about 39. So that was the value we got last time. Last time we got around 40. I'm just going to use 40. 40. So this is the factor that it multiplies it by. Meaning, if we do the same thing, but backwards, it should divide the frequency by 40. So frequency we have just now, which is about the 134. If we take this number, 131, divided by 40, we get 3. So this should be 3 hertz right here. And if we change it to a sine wave, we can actually hear it beating about 3 times per second. So let's go to matrix. Yep, that's about 3 times per second. So now let's go back to our original frequency right here. So what did we say that this frequency was? Once every 3 seconds. So that was this number right here. And if we times this by 40, that is once every 3 minutes. So this is a crazy frequency right here. We can get a frequency so low that it only beats once every 3 minutes. Oh, you see that? You see that? The line went up. That happened a lot sooner than expected. It happened at like 2 minutes, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there you guys have it. The lowest possible frequency in FL Studio is about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Yep, that's like 150 seconds. Well, I'm actually dumb. 150 is not 3 minutes. That's 180. But yeah, that was pretty much close to our calculation. 150 seconds, which is actually crazy. So our calculation was correct. It's just my math was wrong. There you guys have it. 150 seconds per hertz. Or 0.006666 hertz is the lowest possible frequency in Serum 2.